Do you think about your legacy at all?
No, I don't care.
Friends, let's welcome Ram Gopal Varma.
राम गोपाल वर्मा एक बहुत ही पैशनेट फिल्म मेकर।
So the mid to late 90s of Bollywood was dominated by movie makers like Suraj Bajatya, Aditya Chopra and Karan Johar.
उस आदमी ने इंडस्ट्री बदल दी। पूरे इंडस्ट्री में जो एक चलन चल रहा था, एक खास तरीके की फिल्मों का, पूरे के पूरे ढर्रे को बदल दिया, अकेला आदमी।
रामू ने हैदराबाद से आके पूरे सिस्टम को चेंज कर दिया था कि ऐसे क्यों होगा, ऐसे होगा, कैमरा कैसा भी हो सकता है।
वो ट्रिप्ड आउट है, इसीलिए उन्होंने सत्या बनाई, शिवा बनाई, रंगीला बनाई।
मकरंद देशपांडे की आवाज है, एक चील घूम रहा है आसमान में, कैमरा कहीं भी रखा जा सकता है। So many experiments.
उस आदमी ने कितने असिस्टेंट डायरेक्टर्स दिए।
राम गोपाल वर्मा जी की से असिस्ट किया, 6 महीने के बाद पिक्चर का डायरेक्टर बना मैं।
It was Ram Gopal Varma and that lot really changed the whole landscape.
He used to give chances to people और फिर वो लोगों ने बहुत तरक्की की। People like Anurag, people like Jaideep Sahni.
I never had a friend. I don't have a friend till now.
But about 75% of the films that you've made are with lower wattage stars.
Forget about the role. Who cares what the role is? I wanted to work with the man.
I was working on a project with Mr. Ram Gopal Varma. He asked me if I wanted to direct a film.
Beginning itself, I took it for granted. Anybody can make a film. And if I feel there's a certain point of view in him, I believe that he can make a film. So whoever I liked, even if I talk for 5 minutes, I used to offer him a film.
और मुंह से निकल गया कि मुझे मालूम है कि मेन लीड में होगी और उसका किरदार मेरे ऊपर फिट होगा तो आप हमें दोगे। लौट गया, बोले ये फिल्म है, यू आर प्लेइंग लीड, चंदन इज डूइंग डायरेक्शन, यू एंड अंतरम।
आपने फिल्म डायरेक्ट एंड प्रोड्यूस की है, लगभग 45-50 प्लस।
It's
60.
And I'm this thing too, I want to make 1,000 films before I die. Just physically I can't make it. So the other option is you have to create 100 directors. First time directors, I don't think nobody introduced more than me.
Exactly.
Whether it is Shimit Amin or Sriram Raghavan.
Sriram Raghavan, yes.
Sriram Raghavan was just a journalist.
After the stupendous success of Rangila, no filmmaker would dare to make a film in 2 crores with a new faces.
Why do you think that your life post Satya has been a downfall?
Maybe because I find that silly. Maybe that is one reason why I'm not able to make a good film now.
The thing is, he's cut off from the world. That's something that bothers me.
Mine and Anurag's thinking is very, very opposite. That is the reason we won't be able to work together.
His prime is over.
रामू अगर मेरे साथ काम ना करे तो इससे बड़ी खुशी की बात मेरे लिए और कोई नहीं हो सकती।
See, whatever happened between me and him was a certain misunderstanding, and the fault is completely mine.
From being this master storyteller, he has become the story himself.
और एक इतनी बड़ी फिल्म शोले, लैंडमार्क फिल्म, उसको आपने बनाकर lack of a better word कचरा कर दिया, उसका गम नहीं आपको।
You need to express yourself, you communicate. Blogging is the outlet.
आपकी वजह से कई ट्वीट्स आते हैं जो कई बार ऑफेंडिंग बहुत ज्यादा हो जाते हैं।
Someone takes off from Karan Johar, Student of the Year, and makes Teacher of the Year. It'll become the Disaster of the Year.
Secondly, I realized he's still alive because I thought we had lost him. So, and I don't want such a great filmmaker to ever leave us.
The hottest I saw in my last 3 bursts, that is on your FHM cover.
Is the sort of constant sexist statements also part of the trying to irritate?
Everything is a part of this. So many times I do to irritate the people. You have to entertain or you have to irritate.
Do you like attention?
I love attention.
अब तो रामू कुछ कंट्रोवर्शियल ट्वीट्स करते हैं, कुछ उनके रैंडम वीडियो वायरल होते हैं जिसमें वो कहीं डांस कर रहे हैं, किसी के साथ कुछ कर रहे हैं। फिल्मों के नाम पर भी वो ही इज मेकिंग ऐसी टिटलेटिंग सी फिल्म्स हैं जो अपनी वेबसाइट के लिए बनाए।
मैंने सुना है कि उसको मर गया है 2-3 साल पहले। राम गोपाल वर्मा। अरे मैंने मारा। अरे वो खराब फिल्म बनाया तो ऑडियंस ने मार दिया उसको।
But you can't take away the contribution that he's done to the Indian cinema. Ladies and gentlemen, presenting Mr. Ram Gopal Varma.
See, my first memory of hearing the word director is when my uncle, my mother's brother, he took me to see a film called Ankur of Shyam Benegal. That would be roughly when I was maybe 10, 12, I don't remember exactly. And he kind of leaned towards me and said, that's a director's touch, he said. That's the first time I heard that word, consciously at least, you know. I used to, when I go to see a James Bond film, for example, at that age, and I don't know what James Bond is. I don't know if it's a character's name. So whichever character comes into the film, as a film was watching, I used to ask my uncle, this guy is also James Bond? This guy is also in Telugu. But slowly, because after repeatedly watching so many films with him, I started getting addicted. I was losing interest in my studies, and this, and mom was very, very upset about, and she thought my uncle was spoiling me. Of course, my film obsession of watching them was continuing. It's not that didn't stop at all.
Even when I was in engineering college, my हर रोज एक picture, दो picture देखता था. So always my interest was in cinema. So I did my civil engineering. I don't even know cement concrete mixture 4 years के बाद. Degree पे आ गया. That's a comment on the education system. And ये film बनाने का वो जो whatever that कीड़ा that came halfway through my engineering. Before that I was a film buff watching. Yeah.
Engineering first year, I suddenly started developing this habit
of going back to tell my friends I saw this film,
and I used to change what I saw when I'm narrating. And I also had this habit of telling it in shots.
So frequently I used to feel that when I'm watching a film, I wish the scene was like that. I wish the shot was cut here. I think it is that desire which kept on growing, and at a point of time to make a film exactly the way I want to see it.
Then somewhere in my third year engineering, friends, he said, whenever I make money, make a film with Ram Gopal. That was the first time I didn't think of that time. From then it became an obsession for me. Then by the end of my engineering, when I was maybe around 24, 23, and one day I went and told my father I want to be a director.
As a father, I think some pipe dream is was thinking that he's picture director banana and all that. So he was to tell my mother I'm a crack guy.
One thing which happened is like my father was a sound engineer who works in Annapurna Studios.
I had an appointment with Annapurna Studios, Nagarjuna's brother. He went and told him, I'm very embarrassed to even ask this. For my sake, just talk to him for 2-3 minutes and leave him.
So Venkat said okay, and that 10-15 minutes became 4-5 hours. My first meeting with Venkat. He genuinely had an interest in what I was telling, and I was kind of dissecting the films Annapurna Studios made. I was talking about Rambo. I was talking about The Guns of Navarone. And then he told my father, I've never met anyone in the film industry who seems to know more about films than your son. And then in the course of that, by the time I started doing a job and I was being paid some 800 rupees as a site engineer, and that is where I first wrote Rath story, actually. And then my wife's father got me a job in Nigeria.
So I got a job of 4,000 rupees in Nigeria. No time pay. This is 1987. So on the way to getting some international driving license, I stopped at a video library.
And the first time I saw a video library, I was zapped to see the cassette. It was like a treasure trove for me to see so many films. Then a thought occurred to me, what if we start a video library?
Because for money's sake, I was going Nigeria.
So I said, you just give it to me for 2 months. If it doesn't work, you can always do what you want. And then the video library became a huge success. Because of the video library, I started getting a lot of film industry contacts. They used to come to pick up the cassettes. Then I started making a lot of contacts in the industry, out of which one man was a man called Surendra, who was Nagarjuna's brother-in-law. So then we developed a certain bond. And then he spoke very highly about me to Nagarjuna. Nagarjuna also knows my father because I'm an employee in the studio. And then I started meeting them frequent, Venkat, Nagarjuna, all of them, and they all used to get very impressed with me. They never saw a guy who tells something in shots. And then I decided to just be full-time in films. And then I started hanging out with them in the studio all the time. And over a period of time, it just broke and they kept on developing confidence in me.
Surprisingly, when I was making Shiva, I never thought of success. Because if I thought of success, I wouldn't have made a film like that. It's like a very underplayed performances and realistic, and there was no items or anything in that thing. I just want to make a film what I wanted to see.
Yeah. You mentioned Shiva. I guess I might be horribly wrong. Probably you are the only filmmaker in the world जिसने अपनी ही फिल्म का रीमेक बनाया.
Reason is Shiva was a blockbuster. Because of that time Mr. Punit Chandrao was here, who made Aakhri Rasta and all that. So he got interested because he watched the Telugu film and he approached us and we together made the.
So when you entered the industry, you must have had some goal in mind, right?
I didn't think of the word success. I thought I will make a shockingly different film compared to what is being made.
I think nobody has tried the way you tried. I think you tried almost all genres.
I think I've done almost every kind of film, suspense thrillers to horror films to musicals to love stories.
But do you feel attracted to the dark theme?
I was interested in doing very topical films. So in other words, I always made films what excited me. I don't like family films and comedy film not a love story is something. So I only am into gangsters, ghosts and all that. I'm attracted to anything which is intimidating stuff, which is larger than life, deals with characters who are not very normal people. So
आपने हॉरर सिनेमा का, हॉरर जॉनर का फेस चेंज कर दिया.
two kinds of horror films. एक depends on blood and gore and shock. दूसरा जो psychological horror, जो आपकी खुद की mind की imagination को पकड़ के चलते. That is the kind of horror I like.
You believe in.
And when Raat came, it shook the world because it had no element of the stereotypical horror movie in it, and yet it made an impact.
So that was a film actually I wanted to make, but because it was like with no pulling actor and that kind of a genre, nobody knew how it will do. The reason why I made Shiva was to get that name so that I can make Raat. And someone asked me, what do you think is the worst film you made? My worst film, according to me, is this film I made called Antam with Nagarjuna. Great material. I failed. Did anything good come out of Antam? He said. I thought for a minute and I said, actually, my entire standing in Bollywood was because of Antam. And he said, how? He said, because of Antam, I met Urmila. Now, because I met Urmila, at a point of time, I was inspired and I made Rangila. And then I rehashed Antam and changed some characters and put it in a new setting, and I made Satya. It's the same story. So Satya and Rangila are my defining films. Rangila was a love story, a romantic story. मैंने मणिरत्नम का रोजा देखने के बाद मैंने फैसला किया I want to shoot songs the way nobody has seen. And मैं एक huge follower था Sound of Music, West Side Story जो Hollywood का musicals थे. So that also I was kind of replicating. और मैं रहमान का music का मैं पागल हो गया. I wanted to interpret that sound in a visual scape no one has seen. So ये motivation सब मिला के रंगीला हो.
When you jumped into Satya, you had a screenplay?
No, I didn't have a script. I didn't have one line order.
But my memory serves, we did write something, and what happened after 2 days of shoot? He said, "This is not the film with me." He threw it away. And then on the go, the film was made. Every day scenes would be written. I would be in his Maruti 1000, stuck there, put a paper on his sofa, and write dialogues for the day.
I just had a gut feeling about the.
सिर्फ हम रामू को follow कर रहे थे blindly.
I was very sure about the characters. I truly think that's the best film made in India.
That's a big statement, Ramu.
Yeah. But I didn't make it. That's the point.
And the look and feel of the typical Mumbaiya. So how did you get that?
Strangely, the answer is in your question. It's only because I'm an outsider. I was fascinated when I saw Bombay. I was relatively new in Mumbai at that time. Now all those underworld things are happening. I'm 14th floor pe ek aadmi. One day suddenly realized that guy is a gangster and police came and arrested him. So Bombay is a place you don't know who lives next door. So I was completely mesmerized with the way the city is, extremely rich people and people living right next to each other, skyscrapers and the dirt and people living on pavements. And second reference point was when Gulshan ji got killed. And suddenly a thought occurred to me. It was a very funny thought actually. What time would the killer have gotten up? Did he have his breakfast before or after? We always know about them either when they kill or when they die. What did they do in between the killing and dying? That is what I wanted to capture in the film.
And Ramu was absolutely sure that he'd never wanted a song in the film.
As a matter of fact, there was no song in the film.
I was coming freshly from Rangila, which is full of songs.
Somehow, I think that we were slightly scared.
Manoj and me and everybody, we used to discuss कि यार कैसे picture बना रहे हैं यार, गाना नहीं होगा यार, कैसे चलेगा यार?
Because at that time, the trailer, I mean, only the music companies
Correct.
used
That
to
was
do
your
it.
selling point.
Correct. So you don't know how to promote.
You also introduced Anurag Kashyap to Ram Gopal Varma.
और अनुराग जो थे वो सत्या पे काफी समय से काम कर तो रामू ने अनुराग को बोला कि भाई आई नीड अनदर राइटर अनदर पॉइंट ऑफ व्यू तो अनुराग ने मेरा नाम सजेस्ट कल बोल दूंगा कि सर थैंक यू वेरी मच बट आई एम नॉट इनटू राइटिंग पहुंचा उनके घर पे रामू ने कहा कि सौरभ आई वांट यू टू प्ले अ कैरेक्टर कॉल्ड कल्लू मामा तो मुझे पहली चीज समझ में आई कि अगर मैंने बोल दिया कि मैं नहीं लिखूंगा तो ये रोल गया मेरे हाथ से एंड दैट आई कैन नॉट अफोर्ड
Trial shows are very misleading because you never know. It was like a cult film, but cult films do not mean that they will really do well.
Nobody liked it. That's when the second half was reshot.
Despite the rave reviews from critics, audiences were slow to respond to Satya.
For 2 weeks there was no audience. Trade pundits in the industry kept on shouting from the rooftop that this film is a disaster and it's a washout. Then after that people started coming in.
And third week suddenly it was 97% and everybody came back and we had a party and we were like, what the hell is happening?
Not only did the film go on to become a surprise box office hit, it also notched as many as 6 Filmfare Awards, including the Critics Award for Best Film.
Comparing Satya and Company. So what changed between Satya and Company?
The difference is between Satya and Company, I would say, is the difference between Godfather and Goodfellas. Satya being Goodfellas.
One is Godfather, which is a great film, and another one is Goodfellas. मेरे को गॉडफादर देख के मुझे ऐसा लगता है कि वो हाँ ये लोग हैं, ये एक दुनिया है, लेकिन वो दुनिया मेरी जिंदगी को क्रॉस नहीं करती। तुम पंगा ना लो इस दुनिया से तो तुम्हें कोई खतरा नहीं, लेकिन गुड फेलस की क्वालिटी है कि वो दुनिया आपके अगल बगल।
और फिल्म मेकिंग कहाँ से सीखी?
Honestly, Gopal, watching. I actually learned from films. 5 principal films. What I think I've learned from is one, of course, is The Godfather.
Right.
Second is Mechanas Gold and The Exorcist.
Okay.
And The Sound of Music.
Just watching films.
Watching. These films are which kind of were stepping stones for my growth. But I used to voraciously read magazines like American Cinematographer and 5 C's of Cinematography. जो भी उस वक्त मिलता था, I used to read that a lot. A film is nothing but a series of decisions you take over a long period of time. Then as long as I don't know what works, so let me just go ahead and do whatever I feel like at any given point of time. That's what pretty much I've been following. In that also, movies like Sarkar and all that also come like that only. Great films happen. You only can make a film. They'll become great or not is something else, you know.
Wow. फिल्में थी जो आपको इन्फ्लुएंस करती थी फिल्म मेकर बनने के लिए?
इसी फिल्म मेकर्स की इन्फ्लुएंस रहती है, लेकिन फिल्मों की इन्फ्लुएंस नहीं। जैसे अर्ध सत्या, शोले ऑफ कोर्स, अर्जुन, राहुल रवेल की, श्याम बेनेगल की कलयुग.
When you talk about Kalyug, you never wanted to make a film like that.
I mean, I think I made it also. See, the point is, if you take my debut film, there was lot of scenes in Shiva which were taken from Ardha Satya, including the ambience of Ardha Satya. When first time they were going to meet Rama Shetty, the way they're sitting and having cards. Actually copied many of such stuff. My whole point was like I'm picking up pieces here and there and churning them in my own way or whatever, you know. तो वजह है कि because I was fascinated with all kinds of films. जब मैं viewer था, I loved A Mechanas Gold, I loved Exorcist, I loved The Sound of Music, and I loved The Godfather. So इतने सारे, I want to make movie in all of that. I want to have a throwback to whichever film I like. So Sound of Music became Rangila. Sarkar and Satya, this became Godfather. Came from Godfather. From Exorcist came Booth and Raat and all that. So Satya is a remake of Dhruvi. Dhruvi मैंने 93 में बनाया है. When that picture didn't work, I realized what was not working and I made it again. Just change the setting. अगर रात है, रात में अगर फादर डॉटर का स्टोरी में हॉरर फिल्म है, मैं फादर डॉटर को अजय उर्मिला करके फिर भूत वही स्टोरी फिर वापस बनाई. जैसे मैंने मेरा फर्स्ट पिक्चर जो है शिवा इज एक्चुअली एग्जैक्ट कॉपी ऑफ a film called Return of the Dragon of Bruce Lee. It's exactly the same screenplay. You know? So I do that all the time. I'm always trying to remake in some form or the other what films have impressed me in my teens, which is the reason I got into so many genres.
आपकी ज्यादातर फिल्मों के टाइटल्स एक शब्द के क्यों होते हैं? निशब्द, भूत, रंगीला.
क्योंकि मुझे लगता है कि एक शब्द के अंदर जो profoundness, जो डेप्थ कैप्चर करते हैं, I don't think it can happen like a 2-word or 3-word. I was a very structured and kind of I had a definitive style from Shiva to whatever films I made. First time in Satya, I broke that. Shooting time में एक incident was that changed my entire viewpoint towards. So there was this actor called Sushant Singh. The scene when Satya first comes to the place, he slashes him with the razor. That was a cut point for me. You know, in my mind, that was where I was going to cut. Now this Sushant is from theatre. Because I forgot to say cut, he screamed. He just improvised. And then Manoj Paul said, "Arey, pani lo." And suddenly the scene became something else which is not there in the paper. And I realized Satya should be about what happens before the scene and after the scene.
I was totally corrupted by Gopal Varma in his best phase. He's my teacher, mentor. I spent 3 years on Satya. Satya was a film full of newcomers. So I was like, I will make a film with everyone who's a newcomer, including the cast and the crew.
आपकी फिल्म में कभी-कभी 1 या 2 रस से ही आप पूरी फिल्म कंप्लीट कर लेते हैं. You don't want diversion.
When I made Booth, first time मैंने suggest किया नितिन मनमोहन प्रोड्यूसर को, let's make it without songs. तो उसने how can a film be there without songs? मैंने बोला कि वैसे भूत नाम का एक टाइटल है और उस फिल्म को लोग डरने के लिए आएंगे तो उनको बिठा के गाना दिखाओ, ये रोमांटिक गाना दिखाओ, वो दिखाओ. आई थिंक दैट वोंट वर्क.
मैंने जो पहली फिल्म देखी अपने लाइफ में हॉल में, वो 2007 में देखी और वो फिल्म थी राम गोपाल वर्मा की आग.
ओके.
राम गोपाल वर्मा की आग पूरी पिक्चर दिखाऊंगा, बार-बार दिखाऊंगा.
अरे ओ सांभा, कितना इनाम रखे हैं सरकार हम पर?
पूरे 50,000.
तांबे, मेरे को पकड़ने के लिए सरकार कितना खर्चा किया?
पक्का मालूम नहीं, 100 करोड़ तो होगा.
दिवाली कब है?
होली कब है?
कभी दिवाली?
Did you realize it was going wrong?
Yes. Maybe 15 दिन, 1 month before the release, I had an inkling. इसलिए कि इतने सारे problems थे उस पिक्चर को जोड़ के. पहले जो टाइटल था कि वो कोर्ट केस को ऐसे ये चेंज करना, वो चेंज करना. So we kept on changing the story in between the whatever जो भी मैं बनाना चाहता था. I myself lost track of the film after some time. पहला एक सोच से शुरू होती है. And what can go wrong in that सोच? This is the one of the classical things I'll tell you. मुझे पहला एक साशा सीपी जो है GPCP producer of original शोले उनसे कॉल आई थी. He wanted to make a sequel to शोले with me and he had an idea. So what this guy told me, so what is the story? After Mehbooba's song, Gabbar Singh has sex with Helen. Now Helen has a baby who is Junior Gabbar, that guy. See, please don't laugh, Komal. Sorry. Yeah. Son of the Junior Gabbar to take revenge for his father. When Veeru and Basanti once in a while keep coming to see Radha, Junior Gabbar kidnaps Veeru and Basanti. So now Veeru's sons come to take revenge. You also wanted Jackie Chan. I thought it was some actor I didn't know who came recently. I didn't think of the Hong Kong actor. He said because Sholay is the biggest brand name in Asia, Jackie Chan is the biggest name in Asia. So a combination of this will get the entire Chinese market. So I have to figure out a way how to put Jackie Chan in Sholay too. Wow. Yeah. I just had a blank face and I left. But the fact he mentioned Sholay, I was in the back and I was thinking, can anything be done out of Sholay? Then I thought, what if we set it up in a modern time and we just take the basic plot of it? My first plot line was one mill owner called Vallabh Thakur. He was shot dead by gangsters. Now Vallabh Thakur's father he was a founder of the company. He was a very rich man. He got the news about Vallabh Thakur being shot dead by some underworld guy. Now he's an old man and that guy is sitting abroad, the guy who shot. So he somehow manages to get to a shooter of the underworld and he offers him a phenomenal sum of money. So he gives a supari of the dawn. This was my first version of Sholay. What I wanted to make. Very thin line between a conviction and a mental block. I have to stick to what I think is right or wrong. Then I took that thing to show it to Mr. Bachchan.
And he also
said, terrific. So मैंने सोचा अमिताभ बच्चन को भी अच्छा लग रहा है, जो भी मेरे ऑफिस लोग के अच्छा लग रहा है. And then everything started going wrong after that. Always a film you'll make one primary mistake in the first decision of what you want to do. And after that you can't control.
Oh my God, look at Ram Gopal Varma, how he was. He made Satya, he made Company, he made Shiva, he made Chanam Chanam, and look at him now.
रामू जी, आपकी तकरीबन 10 फिल्में लास्ट में जो आई है वो फ्लॉप है. A lot of people say that it's been a while Ramu sir has given like a big hit.
बहुत सारे critics ये कहते हैं कि
rogue methodology जो आपका था, it has failed. People have not appreciated that. One reviewer has said that एक भी single frame जो है वो still नहीं था.
To all the bizarre camera work I did in department.
Because when I see Shanam Shanam or Shiva or till Rangila, you are having interesting camera moves, but you don't seem a little off or odd.
I always choose camera work directly depending upon the characters I am dealing with. Now Satya has a very normal camera work because I just wanted the actors not to be disturbed and to see them as people, almost as if the audience in the theatre are there along with them in the room and they're watching them. You are actually using the compositions and angles to create an extra layer which probably is not really present there. So I use that a lot in Sarkar, in Company. A Godfather, you don't see a single thing. It almost is shot like a TV serial, as simplistic as that.
और क्या reasons है आपके downfall के?
I said to start with, I don't know why they become successful in the first place. So if I know the answer to that, then I will probably have an answer to this. A film is like a child. You can give birth to it, and how it grows by the time it finishes, it's impossible to know. Last good film I made, I feel, is Rakta Charitra.
क्योंकि लोग हैं जो बोलते हैं 2-2, 3-3 साल में उनको एक सब्जेक्ट समझ में आता है.
A lot of people think I work too fast, make too many films without working hard on them, which I think is wrong because I probably put 10 times more effort in Aag than I put in Sarkar. Because Sarkar is something I just like that did without thinking. In Aag, every shot I thought about in detail. Shoot, the number of days and the maximum money I spent is Department and Aag, and both of them are super flops, probably the biggest flops of my career in terms of costing and time wise. And I've done Satya just like that, I've done Sarkar just like that. I mean, the only thing I do is make 2 films. The subah se utke sham tak only films. I don't have any personal life, I don't go to functions, I don't go to friends' houses, I don't have family life, you know.
Now you're making these videos, that 50-minute video of 2 foreigners in the desert, kind of like a soft maybe. I don't know how to call it. It's like a...
Yeah.
What's your obsession with women?
Your preference in women, you like it?
I like women with a lot of curves.
Like in your Twitter, there was a photograph of you standing next to, I think, a Shiva, and you put it out there for the world to see.
Yeah.
You're like, I don't give a fuck.
I was always that, now I got the opportunity. This is point one. Point two is for me to live the way life I want. So because of the Twitter or various social media things, now they're getting to know me and they think I've become like that now. The truth is I was always like that even then.
Because if you look at it, he's doing exactly what he did then. He is making films that he believes in that nobody else probably makes or believes in. He can have the most outrageous idea and he'll go make a film. He handpicks them from nowhere and he makes films with them. That's what he did then, that's what he's doing now.
And point two, even though I make all kinds of films, but these, because of the imagery, they get noticed and discussed.
I mean, like I just said, you're still making the political thriller.
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Now, you have had your hits, but you've also had a number of underperformers and a number of films that have not done well at all.
You are thinking they have not done well, but that only can be compared with at what cost it was made. I made a film, I made around 70 lakhs on that film, and the film's cost was 2,000 rupees. I made it with my cell phone, we put it on pay-per-view theatre, and I got 70 lakhs. So no one knows about it also. And why I'm sustaining for such a long time.
Company, सरकार, भूत, वो दौर अगर आपका गोल्डन दौर था, इस दौर को आप क्या कहें?
I don't feel difference. Shiva के बाद मेरा 4 flop आए. There is Shanakshanam, there is Ratri, Govinda Govinda. Then suddenly money became a big, and then something became a big hit. Even before Sarkar, I had a low. Like Dod was a big flop. Then Satya happened. Meech mein Mast didn't work. Jungle also it was okay. Then Company came. Ups and downs always were there. And now because maybe making more films and producing and the social media is so much, they amplified. I personally don't feel the difference. See, for me, success is, I define, is if you're able to get up in the morning and you can do whatever you want to do till you sleep. On that count, I was always successful. When no person remains constant, there will obviously change because of his experiences, his mindset, and what's happening with him otherwise. And there are so many things. I'm not the same person anymore because maybe I don't have that mindset. I'm a changed person. A change might not is not necessarily for the good. It can, but it's different. That is what I meant with a series of decisions you're taking over different periods of time. At a point of time, I'm taking the decision. Did I check back on my decision whether I'm doing it right or not, or to confer with people? And just to give it a different perspective, the fact that I didn't do that is my arrogance. That's where it comes from. Arrogance is nothing but you depending upon yourself, your thinking, your feelings, your instinct, and not having a double check on that from any perspective. It is the arrogance and wrong subject matter which are the culprits as far as I'm concerned. And I take every film of mine, what excites me about the film, I do it with the same effort and passion. You can passionately do a bad thing.
Monday morning, the world, or rather the Indian cine world, woke up to a tweet from you, a long tweet about watching Satya.
My entire thinking changed day before yesterday. 3 days back, I felt my rest of my life, I have a clear-cut idea, a clear-cut goal I want to reach. Whether I can or not is a different point. I saw Satya because it was releasing. I haven't seen the film for 27 years, you know. And I was shaken with the impact. And not only me, Anurag Kashyap was with me. I came up with the line. I said, if you followed a simple principle, whenever you wanted to make a film, if you saw Satya once again, and ask ourselves one question, is it going to be as good? Wow. Is it going to be as effective? I don't think we would have made 80% of the films we made. When I was making RGV Ki Aag, if someone told me, will it be as good as Satya? Will it be as sincere as Company? Or are we just trying to do a gimmicky version of Sholay? If the question seriously was asked by someone, I'm not sure I would be able to answer that. So no one asked me, neither did I ask myself. And which pretty much is true for many films I've been doing in the last 10-15 years. This is like a wake-up call. But what I'm planning now to do, that will be my biggest film, not in terms of budget, not in terms of casting, but as an idea. I think it is going to be the biggest film.
More than anything, I want all the critics to shut up. I don't want even them to write RGV's back. I want them to write RGV's RGV.